On this Constitution Day, we have to make a place that we will defend secularism, we will defend the plural traditions in India. As Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said, that political rights alone cannot do justice to people, and without addressing those socio-economic inequalities, I think justice cannot be given. Today is 26th of November, and on the very day the writing of constitutions was complete. It was not a small thing for India, which was under the colonial rules for around 150 to 200 years. And India got independence, and after that the makers of Indian constitutions, they had faith in themselves and they decided to write a constitutions and give the nation a constitutions which is based on secular, democratic, republic values. After 70 or 80 years after independence of the country, I think this is the time for us to look at what we have achieved and where we have failed. Friends, I have taught political science, and during the course we have to also teach constitutions, Indian constitutions, and there are multiple ways to look at Indian constitution. For some scholars, Indian constitution is a document which can bring about social change. It is a revolutionary document because it put an end to all kinds of inequality, particularly those which were ascriptive. There are other peoples who are critique of Indian constitutions. One group of people, one group of scholars are socialists and leftists, and they argue and they generally say that Indian constitution could not carry more social and economic rights. So they believe that more and more social and economic rights should be incorporated into Indian constitutions. And there are those right-wing critics who have not accepted Indian constitutions wholeheartedly because they believe that Indian constitution is based on Western values and there is not much Indian values incorporated into the making of Indian constitutions. And if you ask me, I could quote a large number of right-winger thinkers, I think Hindu nationalist scholars and activists and politicians who have always criticized Indian constitution, and their basic argument is the traditional values, traditional laws, particularly Hindu laws, were not given sufficient place. So for them, Indian constitution is alien. But I do not uphold this argument. I think that when Indian constitutions was being made and when the traditional power elites were being questioned and the rules were made to democratize society, that created problem for the elites, caste elites, the business classes, and I think the Hindu right is representing the interest of the elites in the society and also the reactionary forces. So here I would like to quote Golwalkar. I think he wrote in one of his book, I think it was Bunch of Thoughts, where he has criticized Indian constitutions because he believed that the Manu laws, I think, were not given enough space in Indian constitutions, and he has argued that the Manu as a lawgiver was accepted and held high by people across the globe. But here is India, where constitutions making has happened, but Manu and Manu's laws were not given sufficient space and prominence. But Ambedkar would have taken a strong objections to this argument by saying that democracy and Manu Dharma and Manu laws cannot go together, because democracy talks about equality, liberty and fraternity, while Manu's laws are based on graded hierarchy, and those hierarchies are birth based, and the privilege and punishments are decided by accidental birth. So if somebody is born in high caste, if somebody is male, then in Manu's justice those people would get more and more privilege, but the lower caste, the backwards, the Adivasi and the women are not treated equal citizens by Manu's law. So this is some of the brief historiography on Indian constitutions. I think on this day, on this Constitution's Day, we must talk about and we must remember that there is a conspiracy being hatched to attack Indian constitutions, and this conspiracy is being made by the right-wing forces, and they are not ready to accept the egalitarian values of the constitutions which Baba Sahib Ambedkar labored hard to put all those good things in the Indian constitution. Friends, we have to keep in mind that there are some very important features, I think, in Indian constitutions, and what are these? I would like to quickly mention some of them. The first thing in Indian constitution is that it is based on the idea of equality, that is samanata, musawat, barabari, equality. All people are equal irrespective of caste, class and gender. I think people, citizens have got equal rights. Nobody is supreme, nobody is inferior. The birth cannot determine that the privilege should be distributed or punishment should be slapped on somebody because of the accidental birth. So this constitutions, Indian constitutions, talks about equality, and this idea of equality is not liked by those who are traditionally elites and those who are powerful. The another important thing of Indian constitution is that it is based on the idea of secularism and pluralism. Indian constitutions says that a state cannot have its own religion, a state cannot give preferential treatment to any religion, and it cannot discriminate against another religions. So all religion in the eyes of a state is equal, and a state and politicians, while making their policies, they cannot decide policy on the basis of religion. Religious discrimination cannot happen. For example, a Muslim or a Hindu or a Christian or a Sikh or a Buddhist or a Parsi or a Jain, or even those who are believing in religion or those who are not believing in religion, all are equal in the eyes of constitutions. But Indian constitution is different from French secularism, where religion is looked at negatively. But Indian constitutions and Indian tradition is different in a sense that a state is not waging a war against religion. A state doesn't look at religion negatively, but it is based on Gandhian understanding of secularism, that is Sarv Dharm Sambhav, which means that equal respect to every religion. A state is not against religion, a state will not do anything to eliminate religion, a state will not deprive people of their faith, but a state will treat every religion equally. So this tradition is coming from Gandhi's legacies, where Sarvadham Sambhav is the core idea, and in India is a home of people from multiple religions, Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, Christians, Buddhists, Jains, they have all lived here. Friends, one thing we have to also keep in mind, that with the rise of the Hindutva forces, there is a tendency to paint India as a Hindu country, to say that Hindus are the real, I think, people of this soil. I think they are the sons of the soil. But this is nothing but propaganda. It is communal understanding. Hinduism is as old religion in this country as Christianity and Islam. And I would like to argue that the Buddhism and Jainism, which arose in 5th or 6th century BC, something around 225, 26, 27, 2800 years ago, their followers are here, they are living in India. So a religion which is in practice for more than 2000 years cannot be said foreign religion or alien religion. Similarly, Islam and Christianity are here in India, these religions are being practiced by the Indians for more than thousands and 2000 years. So the very idea that some religion is Indian religion and another religion is not Indian religion, foreign religion, this is also very dangerous, because India is not Hindu, India is not Muslim, India cannot be said to be a land belonging to a particular religion. But the characteristics of India is pluralism, the characteristics of India is multiculturalism, and it is these elements which we have to protect, we have to defend, because these values are being attacked by the Hindutva forces who are in power today, and they are using state machinery to impose one culture, one religion, one nation, one. They are imposing one on each and everybody. But people are very different, people are diverse, and the best policy, the better policy is to maintain diversity. So on this Constitution Day, we have to make a place that we will defend secularism, we will defend the plural traditions in India, we will stand with the minority rights, and Indian constitutions has given minority rights to Muslims and Christians and other minority communities, and these are very important, because in any society, in any democracy, there is a threat that minority culture and minority religion and minority way of life will not be given a special space. They might be discriminated, even though the state is having secular constitutions. That is why a special rights, minority rights, which are pertaining to, I think, cultural and religious rights, they are given to minorities communities, so that they should not have any feeling of alienation that they are being dominated by the majority community. This is also one of the key concerns today, that minorities are being attacked, and we have to keep in mind that India belongs to Hindus and Muslims and Sikhs and Christians and Buddhists and Parsis and Jains, the believer of the religion and those who do not believe in religion. So we have to defend secularism, democracy, we have to defend, I think, equality and also liberty, because a state has become very mighty and it is using its power, its police and its agencies to suppress all those people who are not speaking in terms of the government propaganda. Anybody who is criticizing a state's agenda can be charged and can be booked under draconian laws. So liberty is also a big important thing, that is very important feature in our constitution, and liberty is also being attacked because of the strong state led by a right-wing government. Couple of months back, on the Independence Day, Vivek Dev, who is economic advisor of the Prime Minister, wrote an article in Mint newspaper, and he has argued that we need a new constitution. That was very dangerous trend, and that threat is still not over. I think the hardcore Hindu nationalists, the hardcore Hindutva people, they believe that if they have come to power, if they are dominating Indian politics, they should also change the constitution or at least modify it and give it a Hindu color. These are very, very dangerous trends, because India is united, because India is based on the idea of unity and diversity. India is strong because it is based on the idea of federalism, where center and states are not situated in a hierarchical relationship. India is strong because there is an idea of multiculturalism and also pluralism, which is enshrined in the constitutions. And friends, we have to defend our legacies of pluralism and secularism, which is increasingly being attacked by the right-wing forces. One thing I would also like to say here, that in the past the Hindu right-wing thinkers have attacked constitutions one after another, and since they are in power, so there is a need to protect these constitutions. As Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said, that political rights alone cannot do justice to people, because in society there are socio and economic discrimination, and without addressing those socio and economic inequalities, I think justice cannot be given. For example, I would like to give you the instance of a rickshaw puller. The value of vote of a rickshaw puller and the value of vote of a rich millionaire is the same. One vote, one man. But rickshaw puller is denied basic facilities. He does not have sufficient food, pure water, house, jobs, a health facility. On the other hand, rich people have all the means to influence policies in their own favor. So today we have to also make a pledge that we will fight for economic and social justice. We will fight for economic and social rights. We must oppose caste system. We must oppose caste-based hierarchy. We must stand with gender rights. We must support Adivasis whose livelihood are being attacked, because the establishment thinks that development is the name of exploiting natural resources. So we have to stand with all marginalized community. We have to defend reservations. We have to fight for more and more budgetary allocations on health, employment, educations, and the right-wing shift which is now happening at a very fast speed, that must be questioned, that must be opposed democratically and peacefully. So let's remember Baba Sahib Ambedkar and all those great men who have drafted these constitutions, who made these constitutions, who gave the nation a beautiful constitutions, and let's pay tribute to them. And also remember that constitution is a document which can only be used properly when it is used by good people. So even if, as Dr. Ambedkar has said, if there is a bad constitution but there are good people, the constitutions can be used in a good way. But if there is a good constitution and those who are implementing those constitutions are bad, then justice will not be delivered. So justice can only be delivered when we are not having only the good constitution but also good people at policies making. If marginalized community, Dalit, Bahujans, backward classes, women, if they are facilitated to decide their policies in their favor, in the interest of the nations, then the country will progress. It is very sad that 80 years after the independence, I think the lower caste, the marginalized community, the Adivasis, the Muslims, they are not properly represented. And here I am speaking from the seat of government in New Delhi. I am speaking to you from India Gate, and you could see here that this is the place from where I think India is being governed. So I am making this statement that the government can only be democratized when more and more people from the marginalized community come to make decision and decide the policy. Constitution is a document, but if you do not use our agency, if you do not exercise our democratic rights peacefully and democratically, then justice and rights will not be delivered to us. So on this day, I remember Baba Sahib Ambedkar and all those constitution makers who have given us wonderful constitutions. Let's fight for the rights enshrined in constitutions, and let oppose all those attacks which is being made on Indian constitution. And with a new topic, with a new issue, I'll meet you again very soon. Thank you very much.